It was going guys, Communications here. So last video we ended up establishing a proof of concept HTTP server that is listening to the client touching the screen. So every time I touch the screen on a touch device, it results in sending a post request to this move API, and it sends the absolute coordinates x and y of where here do I touch the screen. However, it doesn't fit the purposes of our project, because if you see the mouse pointer, right? You see the mouse pointer here for instance. So if we place this mouse pointer to the absolute coordinate that is available on this device, apart from the fact it might not even fit the screen on the computer, the other major problem that, say I click here and pointer jumps here. Say I click here and pointer jumps here, and it's not the case. So all we care is the relative change of the coordinates. So if I just move to the right, no matter if I do it from here, or from here, all we need to do, we need to this mouse pointer, we need to add the relative offset to one of the existing four directions. So in this video, we're going to write some code that is going to be calculating this relative x and relative f and relative y offset on the front end, so that to the API, we're no longer going to be sending this global coordinates. Instead, we're going to be sending the offset x and offset y. So without further ado, let's implement that logic. So here I want to define some variables, and let's start with the current. So let's say variable. So these are current x. Let's just initialize it is equal to 0 for now. Variable current y. It's going to be equal to 0 as well. So this current x and current y are going to be holding the current absolute position that we're touching, and then it would be used for calculations of the new position. Now, an interesting thing here, so we define variable old x. Old x is going to be equal to, well, we can make it equal to 0 still, but essentially that's going to be equal to current x and current y every next time, so that we can calculate by subtracting one from another. But for now, let's just initialize them all as zeros, just to avoid being distracted. So old x, old y. So I just initialize all of them. All right, and then also offset x, let's make it 0 as well, and offset y is going to be 0 as well. Okay, and the next function to consider, we want to get current absolute x, y position of the touch, where the user touches the screen. So let's create a function called get position. All right, and here we say current x is equal to, and I'm using this event touch. Yeah, and by the way, to make it work, we need to make sure that we send the event here. Okay. I tried this as a global variable, works as well, but the bit more proper way is to do like this. And then current y, we can actually copy this. And my subscribers are already mailing me, so that you heard the sound. Yeah, okay. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, we're gonna be forwarding this event later on. And now the most essential function is update the position. So, yeah, I just realized that it's probably better to call it, so get the relative, so get the relative offsets of the touch. All right, so here function, yeah, let's call it actually update position, because this would be, or let's better call it get offsets, because ultimately what it does, it's getting the offsets. It also would be taking the event as an argument. And here the most essential thing, so I need to say old x is going to be equal to the current y. So we're storing the previous state of this absolute coordinate, and then old y is going. Oh, sorry. Old x is going to be equal to current x. Old y is going to be equal to current y. And then we need to find the new values for our x and y. And since those are global variables, we can just call this get position. So get position. So it's updating the current x and current y. And don't forget to forward the event here. So now we already, so after this code has executed, we already have the current x and current y, and the previous, like 1 moment ago, like a couple of microseconds ago. So let's say I kind of touch and move. So here we have the current x and current y, and here we had old x and old y. So I touch the screen. So when I touch the screen, what happens? There would be like this get position as well. But then when I move, then this old x becomes this coordinates. So I touch, and old x is now this coordinate, old y is now this coordinate, and I move, and the current position is going to be already a new one. So it might not be that clear how I explain it now, but hopefully it gets clear when we will start making use of these functions. So now I can say if current x turns out to be greater than the old x, in this case, the relative x is going to be equal to current x minus old x, right? Then, if current x turns out to be less than the old x, then the relative x is going to be equal old x minus current x. And the same thing goes for y coordinates. So it happens that the current y is greater than the old y. In this case, the relative y equals to current y minus old y. And if current, if old y, if current y, yes, if current y is less than the old y, in this case, relative y is going to be equal to old y minus current y. I really hope I didn't mess up anything here. Okay, but yeah, I don't know why I call this relative x, because in my case this is called the offset. Sorry for this inconvenience. So offset. Now let's make use of this, guys. Here. Okay, so get offsets. So here we want to get relative offsets, and I just call this get offsets routine, and I'm sending the event here. And from now on, within this post request, so let's actually rename this to offset x. Let's make it a little bit more like this. So this is going to be offset y. Here we send the offset x. Since this is the global variable, it's fairly okay to do like this. So offset y here. And well, actually, if I did everything properly, it already should be working nicely. All right, so I'm just wondering, yeah, let's check out for the errors, if any, like typos or something updating. So yeah, seems like no errors there. Okay, now I hold my breath, and so also here, so should be called to offset x, and here it should be called to offset y, and here I'm getting the offset x. So just changing the post, the API's values, like so here with along with the request body, we're sending this. Now this parameters are called offset x and offset y instead of just x and y. Okay, and still the behavior is going to be the same, but you just notice how the values are going to be different. So here they were like big values, right? And we are looking for a little bit like offset values. Now the value should be like 2, 3, maybe up to 10, no more. Okay, so almighty smartphone, and update, and I touch. Okay, all right. So now you see these numbers are starting being relative. Right. So now they are starting being relative. Okay. All right, but probably you've noticed a little problem here. So no matter if I go to the left or to the right or to the up or to the down, all the time these values are always positive. But we want to have the positive values when going to the right and negative when going to the left, and positive when going up and negative when going down, or in the country. So it doesn't really matter how exactly we make that. But here is the deal. So here, so in case if current x is greater than old axis, let's assume that this is the positive change. So it was like less, now it's more, so it's positive. But here it's actually should be negative. So if current x is less than than the old x, then the offset this offset x is going to be having the negative number, and the same is going to be here. So here, let me just go in back here, and now I need to update the client. So I update the client to make this UI changes working. And now let's have a look. So we have minus, and now we have plus. Now I'm going up, we have minus. I'm going down, we have plus. Yeah, that's because I'm also moving left and right. So yeah. Well, anyway, yes. If I go here, I have both plus. If I go here, I have both minuses, both negative, which is exactly the case which we have been looking for. And one last thing that we need to get rid of is this one. So we now have the problem is we have this floating point numbers, which we don't really care about. So instead of those, we actually need to, so here in the get position, I can simply say math.floor to convert this to the integers. I could have used parts in as well, but I prefer using math.floor here. Okay. And again, so I just save this, server restarts, and I update the smartphone. And now let's see. So now we have the integer offsets. Okay, so we have, so here, select, we have all the integer offsets, which hopefully is going to be working nicely for our purposes. This is it from my side, guys. As for this video, thanks for watching. Until the next time, and take care.